Print, email, Facebook, Twitter. More Molesworth residents cut off from help, with roads washed away by record flood. Some residents in the small community of Molesworth in Tasmania's Derwent Valley remain cut off after flooding from an extreme weather event washed away access routes. The cleanup from Hobart's worst storm in decades is in full swing, with the total damage bill estimated to run into many millions of dollars. The storm, which combined heavy rains, wild winds and electrical storms, saw cars swept down streets in central Hobart and businesses and homes inundated. Brian Jeeves lives on a property on Glendew Road in Molesworth, about half an hour west of Hobart. There are a lot of bridges up Glendew Road which I've never really paid attention to until now. Several of them have been washed away, Ms. Jeeves said. So there are people kind of stuck all over the place. When the storm came through, her husband was working on Tasmania's west coast. I'm 7 months pregnant and we've got a 2-year-old, so we were home on our own, she said. The first night was really scary. Thursday night the wind was so crazy it was quite terrifying. I've never been shaken like that. I was out moving livestock in the rain and it was just kind of coming sideways. The thing was, SCS, State Emergency Service, didn't know how bad it was up here, because I think the people who live up here are pretty self-sufficient, Ms. Jeeves said. But we've got a few high-risk people up here, people with chronic illnesses and all sorts of things, so I was more worried for some of those people, she said. We were quite cozy, the fire was going and that's about all we really need. The SCS made contact with several households in the area, going in on foot to check on residents. It is confident all residents are safe and well, but there are still many households in the Molesworth area without power. There's 64 customers there at the moment and the bridge is washed out, so we can't even access the area. We're looking at trying to get crews in other ways, Jason King, TAS Network's leader of network operations, said. Ms. Jeeves said she is fortunate, as her partner who works on the west coast arrived home Saturday. He and his dad were able to get 2 generators as far as one of the collapsed bridges and get them over in wheelbarrows, she said. At the height of the power outage following the storm, 12,000 customers were without power across the state. I can say now though, that the Tasmanian power grid is in a very stable and secure state, which is good, Mr. King said. The banks of the Newtown rivulet burst, with debris, including cars, swept into it by the floodwaters, supplied. Mark Horseman image 1 of 22. George Vickers snapped this image of the water catching people by surprise in the Hobart CBD. Supplied. George Vickers image 2 of 22. A home at Sandy Bay, Hobart, sustained extensive damage to its roof in the storm. Submitted. Rohanbury image 3 of 22. Police sought help on social media to find the owner of this yacht, aground at Bruny Island. Supplied. Tasmania Police image 4 of 22. Clean-up underway inside a shop in the Channel Court shopping complex in Kingston, May 11, 2018. ABC News. Ellen Coulter image 5 of 22. Search and rescue personnel watches a 15-year-old boy is prepared to be winched to safety by a helicopter after becoming trapped in fast-running floodwaters at Tinwell Park, New Norfolk. Supplied. Tasmania Police image 6 of 22. The Westpac rescue helicopter moves into position for the rescue operation at New Norfolk, in southeast Tasmania. Supplied. Tasmania Police image 7 of 22. The boy is lifted out of the floodwaters, at New Norfolk, in southeast Tasmania. Supplied. Tasmania Police image 8 of 22. The flood caused extensive damage at the Sandy Bay campus of the University of Tasmania. ABC News. Brian Miller's image 9 of 22. At Opossum Bay, the storm caused a landslip, resulting in this dwelling sliding down an embankment. Supplied. Peter Tucker image 10 of 22. Hobart docks thick with debris from storm and flooding. Supplied. David Chalmers image 11 of 22. Hundreds of cars were damaged, with a massive insurance bill expected following the 1 in 100-year flood. ABC News. Carla Howarth image 12 of 22. A car which did not make it through floodwaters on Lena Valley Road. ABC News. Georgie Burgess image 13 of 22. Cars floating in South Hobart. Supplied. Lisa Cawthon image 14 of 22. Water comes down a hallway in UTAS's engineering faculty, Sandy Bay, Hobart. Supplied. Monty Boville image 15 of 22. Sandbags and a police presence in Hobart's city centre. ABC News. Edith Bevan image 16 of 22. Sam Icon's family awoke to water coming into their home in Blackmans Bay, Hobart. Supplied. Sam Icon image 17 of 22. Emergency crews clean up mud and debris from the CBD. News video image 18 of 22. The Hobart CBD has been left covered in mud and debris after a storm overnight, May 11, 2018. ABC, Edith Bevan image 19 of 22. Cars swept away by flash flooding piled up in Hobart CBD, May 11, 2018. ABC, Edith Bevan image 20 of 22. Staff tried to sweep floodwaters out of the Old Worcester Hotel in Hobart CBD, May 11, 2018. ABC, Edith Bevan image 21 of 22. The storm brought with it widespread lightning, including a strike which took out a transmission tower, putting ABC television and radio off air for hours. Supplied, Matt Osborne image 22 of 22. Mr. King is hopeful the majority of its infrastructure will be repaired by Sunday morning, leaving only several hundred properties on the fringes of the network without power. But for some households, safety is a real concern, and they could be without power for days as they wait for their properties to be deemed safe to enter. We will need to assess people as they go back into their houses. We need to wait for certificates to say that the houses are safe before we can actually restore power supply, Mr. King said. Racked Insurance is confident only a handful of households are impacted by these safety concerns. There will inevitably be severely damaged homes where there has been water inundation quite high in the home, where on a case-by-case basis there will need to be appropriate testing done before the power can be reconnected, Chief Executive Trent Sayers said. At this juncture we've got somewhere in the vicinity of 600-odd claims for the event, and we're only talking a very small proportion that are in that very severe category. Mr. Sayers said assessors were working to visit the most severely damaged homes first. Print, email, Facebook, Twitter, more.